Good morning, students. Today's topic is multispectral scanning. Okay, so in remote sensing, we are taking the two-dimensional image on Earth surface feature of Earth surface feature. Okay, so we have to study how we are taking these images on Earth surface, and that system is known as scanning method. Okay, or scanners. So, a multispectral scanner system are line scanning devices which observe Earth perpendicular to the orbital track. And this scanning system or scanner system observe Earth perpendicular to the orbital track that I will explain. And many remote sensors acquire data using scanning systems which employ a sensor. This scanning system consists of a sensor, and this sensor sweeps over the terrain to build up and produce two-dimensional images of the surface. Using this sensor actually sweeps over the Earth's surface and produce a two-dimensional image. Okay. A scanning system used to collect data over a variety of different wavelength ranges is called a multispectral scanner. This is known as multispectral scanner because it uses a different wavelength range. Okay, so we are using different wavelength for taking different types of features. Okay, so we are using all the wavelength radiations in the electromagnetic spectrum. So since we are using this variety of wavelength, it is known as multispectral scanner. There are two main modes or methods of scanning employed to acquire multispectral image data. They are across track scanning and along track scanning. Okay, these are the two types of scanning methods. First one, across track scanning. Second one, along track scanning. So we can first look through across track scanning. So across track scanners scans the Earth in a series of lines. The lines are oriented perpendicular to the direction of motion of the sensor platform. Here we are scanning the feature which is perpendicular to the direction of motion of the sensor. And each line is scanned from one side to the side of the sensor to the other using a rotating mirror. Okay, I will explain using this figure. So this is these two are across track scanning. That is, this is the sensor which is moving through this direction. Okay, so the sensor is moving in this direction, and while it is moving in this direction, it will take the features of Earth's surface. So based on the direction how we are taking the features on Earth's surface, scanning system is two types. First one is across track scanning, second type along track scanning. In the case of across track scanning, the features are taken or the sensors are moving in this direction, and while it is moving in this direction, it will take the Earth surface feature perpendicular to the direction of motion. So it is taking the features like this. That is, the sensor is moving in this direction. So when it is moving in this direction, it will take the portions or features along this direction. That is across the track direction. So it is known as across track direction. That is, the sensor is moving in this direction, but we are taking the data along this direction. So in this figure, it will be more clear. That is, this is the motion of the sensor. Okay, the sensor is moving in this direction. That's clear. Sensor is moving forward in this direction. So while it is moving in this direction, it is scanning the features like this. Okay. First it will take the features along this portion, along this line or this small portion. Then it will take the next small portion. Then it will take the features on next small portion. Like that the scanning completes. Okay. So it is known as across track scanning because it is scanning the details which is across the track, which is perpendicular to the track. This is the motion of sensor or the direction of sensor, and it is the scan direction. So it is known as across track scanning. Okay, is it clear? So this is known as angular field of view because at a time this sensor can take the features along this region. Okay, from this point to this point, this sensor can take the data along at one time. Okay, so when it is moving in this direction, it will take the features along this path. Okay, next in the next case, the sensor will move this path. That is, it will move in this direction and it will take the features along this region. Like that, the process continues. Okay, so it is across track scanning because it will scan the details which is across the path, across the direction of sensor movement. Okay, so it is known as across track scanning. The scanner thus continuously measures the energy from one side to the other of the platform, and thus a two-dimensional image is generated. It is also known as whisk boom scanner because that I will explain later. That is, there are two types of scanner, across and along. This is also known as whisk boom and push broom. That I will explain using the next figure. The incoming reflected or emitted radiation is separated into several spectral components that are detected independently. The UV, visible, near infrared, thermal radiation are dispersed in their constant wavelength. That is, we are taking different types of radiations, and each radiation will reflect independently. Okay, that is, the reflection of different wavelength will vary. So the spectral reflectance of these radiations also vary. So by studying the type of reflectance of these type of radiations, we can identify the Earth's surface features. So a bank of internal detectors, each sensitive to a specific range of wavelength, detects and measures the energy for each spectral band, and then an electrical signal they are converted to digital data. That is the procedure of remote sensing that we have studied. So this is known as across track scanning. Next type is along track scanning. This also use the forward motion of the platform to record successive scan line and build up a two-dimensional image which is perpendicular to the flight direction. Here, this system is known as push broom scanner. The last type is whisk broom scanner. This is known as push broom scanner that we can see. This is along track scanning. That is, here the scanner or the sensor is moving in this direction, and it will take the datas or the features which is along the track direction. That is, next figure it will be clear. So this is the scan direction. This is the motion of or direction of scanners or sensors, and while the sensor is moving in this direction, it will take the features along this line, next along this line, like that. The scanner will move, or the sensor will move in this direction, rotate in this direction, and it will take the data which is along the track direction. Okay, so this is the scan direction. In the previous one, this is the scan direction. While the sensor is moving in this direction, we are taking the data or features on Earth's surface across the track. Here we are taking the features along the track direction, like this. Okay, so this is known as along track scanners or push broom scanner. So this is the two types of scanner. That is, first one across track, this is the along track. So first one is known as whisk broom scanner. Second one, push broom scanner. That is, there are two types of broom system. That is whisk broom. Whisk broom will move in this direction. Push broom means it is moving in this direction, in the pushing direction. Okay, so it is known as, first one is known as whisk broom, and second one push broom, based on the direction of the scanner movement. Okay, so these are the two types of scanning, across track and along track scanner. Next, we can look through the advantages of remote sensing. So what are the advantages? First one, it provides data for large area. Okay, because since the sensors are located at top of our top of system, we can take a large area. Okay, we can take the data for a large area. Since we are taking the images from a long distance from our Earth's surface, we can cover a large area. That is, the coverage of this remote sensing system is very much high comparing to our camera system. Okay, so it provides data for large area. Second one, it provides data of very remote and inaccessible regions. Using this aircraft system, we can reach inaccessible regions also. That is, on top of sea or top of any big forest, like that. So inaccessible regions can also be reached using this remote sensing. Also, in the case of natural calamities, we cannot reach that regions. So using this aircraft, we can reach that regions and can take the remote sensing data. Okay, it is able to obtain imagery of any area over a continuous period of time. Okay, the frequency, we can increase the frequency of our data taking. So it is possible to monitor any anthropogenic or natural changes in the landscape. So if we want to, for example, if we want to monitor the growth of any plant, we can take the data over a continuous period of time. So we can check the growth of any type of crop. Okay, like that we can produce the data at any number of period or at any number of frequency. So it can monitor any anthropogenic or natural changes in the landscape. So relatively inexpensive when compared to employing a team of surveys. So if we are using a team of surveyors, that if we are using manpower, the cost will be very high comparing to this remote sensing system. Okay. So easy and rapid collection of data, that is time for taking this data is very less, and it is very easy, and rapid production of map for interpretation, that is the final output is very easy to produce the final output. So the rapid production of maps for interpretation, these are the advantages of remote sensing. Then some of the limitations are, the interpretation of imagery requires a certain skill level, that is skill is very much needed, because normal people cannot use this remote sensing system. We have to study the principles and all that thing, so it requires certain skill, and needs cross verification with ground survey data. We cannot depend blindly on this data, we have to cross verify with the ground data. Okay, and data from multi sources may create confusion, that is since we are taking a large varieties of wavelength for this remote sensing system, the final output may be a little bit confusing, because in the case of any region, if we are taking any image of any crop, there will be so many types of vegetation in particular area. Okay, but we cannot identify or we cannot differentiate each vegetation without knowing the spectral reflectance of these vegetations. Okay, that is we are using so many varieties of wavelength. So the spectral reflectance of these wavelengths is very much varying. Okay, so we cannot predict the spectral reflectance of these wavelength over different types of earth feature. So the final output or final result will be a little bit confusing if we are using so much sources. Okay, then objects can be misclassified or confused. So this is same as this one, that is if we are using so many wavelength, the objects can be misclassified or confused. That is for example, in the case of water body, it will usually it will be in blue color, vegetation may be in green color. But in some cases, if we are using any other type of radiations, the water body may seen in red color. Okay, so at that time we may get a little bit confused, because usually it will be in blue, but using this as a special type of radiation, it is appeared as a red color. Okay, so we have to study the spectral reflectance of this wavelength, and only we can identify what feature is that. Okay, that is the final output is little bit confusing if we are not thoroughly understood the spectral reflectance of the radiation. Okay, and distortions may occur in an image due to the relative motion of sensor and sources, that is due to this since the sensors are continuously moving, a small distortions may occur in the image. Okay, so these are the limitations of remote sensing. So by this our this chapter is over, that is the fifth module is over. Okay, so thank you.